Alright, so let's get this thing unboxed. Again, I'm not getting paid to do this or anything. They did send this to me for free though, so there is that, but I did ask them for it. I did reach out to them probably a month ago because I had some questions and I had some recommendations to what I thought might be like improvements. But anyways, let's get this thing unboxed and check it out. Overall, the unboxing experience was actually pretty easy, and they had this thing in there pretty darn secure, which was surprising. Their like marketing materials are pretty nice. There's a lot of information on the like cardboard and just a good use of like the structure, I guess. It was pretty nice, actually. Well, once I got this actually unboxed and started pulling it apart, this is where I was actually pretty darn impressed with the pot. I will have some more like words about this whole concept a little later on, but I just want to show you like up close first, and then I'll talk about it more. But the overall pot is really nice. Like the quality is really there. It's solid. It's self-watering. It's got the little meter and stuff. And once you see how the internals actually look, it makes so much more sense than what I saw on their website. The internal pot is like got slits all around it, so the venting actually makes a ton of sense. I am really a big fan of like component style stuff, so the fact that this pot is like made up of all these different components is really cool. I do want to try and copy this with like 3D printing. I do like this concept a lot. I think it's great for like aeroids and orchids and stuff. There could be just a lot done with just the pot itself, ignoring like everything else surrounding this. And then alongside of the plant and the pot, they do include their like power drops. I guess this is their like microbiome that is responsible for filtering some of the VOCs out of the air. I'm not going to really go in depth on the effectiveness of this and how well this works. It's been done to death. They have their white paper and stuff, and you can reach out to them on social media. They'd be happy to talk to you. Like I said, I reached out to them and they were willing to talk to me, and they gave me a whole tour. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, it's really cool that they give you a glass beaker along with like a glass stir stick. I really love this kind of stuff. It seems like gimmicky, but I really like sort of like LARPing as like a scientist. That's why I'm building like the tissue culture stuff and why I do any of my experiments. I find it fun. So the overall presentation of this entire package it's a pretty cool experience. It's a lot of fun. I like the compartmentalize of the pot, but I do want to talk more about the pot from like a different point of view. So let's take a look at that. All right, the first time I tried to record this, I did not have the mic plugged in. But anyways, I do want to talk about the pot. I think the pot is actually really awesome, and some of the advertising I've seen like on their website and stuff doesn't really do it justice. It's kind of confusing. So I know I already kind of showed you some close-ups and you got to see it in more of the unboxing, but I think the pot is actually quite nice. It's a self-watering pot, which is pretty cool. It has some of that typical, I don't know what you call this, I guess your little gauge and stuff, which I thought was neat. Because there's been some like self-watering pots that have like this little fancy stuff that have been really expensive in the past. And this is pretty cool that you kind of get that like fancy feel to it. But anyways, let me try and get this apart. It's actually a pretty robust like design here. It's really solid plastic, like really hard plastic. So it's definitely not cheap. Pretty awesome in my opinion. Like it's hard to flex this, which is impressive because it's so large, but it's really thick. So the pot quality really feels nice, and I really like this design. And here is like what I want to talk about. I don't know how well this does in practicality, so I can't speak on that. I haven't tested it. I haven't used it long term. But just like face value, I think it's pretty cool. When I first saw the advertising, I saw these vents here, and I saw it like on here, and like the way it looks from the cut side view, it looks like the inner pot is just like a solid piece of plastic, so that way the air never gets to interact with the soil. But the cool thing is, it's not like that. Like the entire like surrounding of the pot is like all open, so all the roots and soil is exposed. And that makes this whole venting really clear. I know some people like ragged on this pot, but I think it's because they didn't actually see the pot. They just saw the advertising and they kind of based their opinions on that. Now, I don't know how well this is going to work because it might dry out too fast. It might stay wet. Hard to say because it is self-watering. There is like a big reservoir, so I think it's pretty cool. But again, I have to test it out. But I just wanted to go over that because I think it's definitely not very apparent as to how much the soil is exposed to the air. And the venting actually makes a lot more sense. So I think that's pretty cool. Now, I did reach out to them probably like a month ago because I wanted to have a call with them because I was really curious about like what they're doing and everything. I wanted to see like what they had, especially when all like the drama was coming out, which is like whatever. But I did have a recommendation to them. I thought it'd be neat if this pot was black because it would turn into more of an active filter, because as this black shell got hit with like a hot light or the sunlight, it would heat up on the outside, and so that would generate some nice airflow coming up through those vents, because as the heat rises, as that shell heats up, it would just create like an active airflow. Especially seeing the inside of the pot, it would make a lot of sense. It'd be super cool. I also asked if they were going to like release this just as its own thing, because it would be neat if you could just turn like all of your plants into a filter, and I think they're like sort of working towards that, but they have to like test it out and do whatever to sort of figure out if that makes sense. Who knows if it'll make sense financially or what it'll be, but the concept is really cool. I'm really surprised by the negativity around the company. A lot of it seems just to be based on like marketing pizzazz. In all honesty, I don't know why people are there. It's like a lot of this really feels like Reddit to me. I don't know if you're familiar with that site, but it's not a big fan of like how people act on there, and like they're like hypercritical of things that they whatever. It could be a whole thing, but I think it's an interesting concept. I'm glad that someone is at least like trying to make a plant that actually does filter the air, because we've talked about the NASA stuff years ago. I did a little like mini experiment, looked into it, and just kind of how the airflow and filtering works. I've talked about that a lot in the past, but it's cool to see that someone's like actually trying to make something that does something. So who knows what the future brings for this company, but I think it's cool that they're trying to. I would rather see people be more positive about this than like ultra negative, which is weird to me. But I mean, that's kind of how some of the plant influencers are. It's like tea like drives their channel, which I guess that's a whole nother side topic. But again, with the whole marketing thing and like nitpicking every little thing, like 30 times more, like I don't know why people are so like caught up on that when that's like an industry standard. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm sure all these influencers that are selling their own products are like, I love when they like show their like big beautiful plant and like attribute it to like the fertilizer they're selling or some other like product care like vitamins that they're selling. I've seen this for just years. So, and they have like no data, no white paper, and a lot of these, honestly, if you don't, maybe you guys don't all know this, but many of the like influencers that are like selling their own like fertilizer or their own like additives for plants, they're just white labeling something that already exists. It's not like they've come up and like manufactured this amazing new product. They're literally just paying a company who already develops this, and then they just put their packaging on it. Like that's like really typical in the world. I mean, in almost every industry, there's just tons of white labeling things on Amazon, just everywhere. So, I mean, we can make 7 hours of videos just nitpicking like everyone's product to death. You could do it forever. I don't know why people like. I think what the company's trying to do is cool. Like I think they're trying to do something awesome. So I don't know why people are like trying to kill it so badly. There's like, it's not just two like people in a garage like trying to sell you snake oil. There's like an entire company with like hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of like testing stuff. There's a lot of people there with like PhDs. They've all got degrees in science. I know people hate some of the stuff I do because I'm not a scientist, but they actually have these people employed. There's a lot of people whose livelihood depends on this company. Like this is their job. So I don't know why it's like some assassination attempt by some of these influencers out there, but I guess tea is what drives views, so maybe that's why. But I think it's pretty cool. Their shell alone is something I really like. It'd be neat if they just sold this as well. I think this could be pretty good for a lot of like aeroids or orchids or anything that really needs like that airflow, because the concept is really fantastic. I really do like this pot a lot. As far as the power drops and stuff, I have no idea. I have no way of testing that. It would cost me a fortune to test like some of that kind of stuff. I know in the past I have kind of tested some like drama that's been out there, like the whole Pythium thing. I mean, I put some money towards testing that, but I don't think I can afford to test this. I do have some V1 Thai cons now, so I got I think 4. The ratios are just as bad as everything else so far, so just right off the bat I don't see a big difference in the growth of the V1s now versus V2s and V3s, but I have invested a crap ton of money into a tissue culture setup, like thousands. So I'm going to tissue culture all of them, and hopefully we can get like 10 of each genetic line, and then I can grow them all at the same time, and we can really start to see if there's like any significant differences. But that's a whole nother topic. But yeah, I mean, eventually I would love to see if I can get some sort of like air quality sensors that are actually accurate enough to like do it. It'd be fun just to stick this in something and test it. I do have quite a these. I got them in the freezer now, so I can kind of like save them for a while. And even I might try and like culture this, because if it is just a bacteria with the tissue culture stuff, I should be able to like grow more. But I'd have to look more into that. I don't know much about like culturing bacteria, but I think it'd be cool if I could culture this. Obviously, I couldn't like sell it because I'm sure they like patented it or something. But it'd just be fun to try and grow more of it. I don't know. I don't know where I'm going with any of this at this point, but I just think the plant pot is really neat. And I think what they're trying to do is really cool. They've been super transparent. They've gotten on calls with people who basically made like hit pieces about them. So I think that's pretty cool of them to at least like get on a call with people like that and allow it to be recorded. Go over everything, listen to what people are saying. It's not like they're this like evil company out there trying to like take everyone's money. So I guess the sentiment is like people need to chill out a little bit. I don't think it's like this devious plan. They're trying to make a product. They're working towards it. And it's a work in progress. So it's pretty cool. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video and at least got to see what the pot looks like. There's a lot of people criticizing this plant without even like seeing it in real life. But it's cool. I like it. But yeah, as always, guys, may your plants grow strong and healthy. Keep experimenting. And I'll see you next time.